Yeah, we see Gen.G. I mean, I expect Fuse to be swapping, but they are going to be bringing in potentially Glister on the Sombra and Dance sticking to that Ana. And that's why they want to play Ana in this position for sure. They want to have that backup of the Ana, where Creative is maybe not going to be, you know, as actually insane on the Ana as Dance is.
Yeah, Dance is just channeling his mustache energy into these shots. It's going to be important for him, but on the low ground, maybe not as much. But now, are they going to left side, or are they waiting towards the right staircase, getting some initial scouting information there from Glister?
Yeah, we'll see him get over to the point. He's actually going to pull them back, or can pull them back once he actually gets the hack onto Flora. It's a big opportunity. Now they can actually move on to the point, and then you can see all the bodies that they have there, 4-1.
Oh, and you saw Dance got stunned there, but Spear is out of the game, and Gen.G have a big opportunity. No main shield standing in their way, but again, missing their main chunk of healing, but they still have presence on the point. And WGS hasn't really challenged them, nor can they really without a Rhine.
Gen.G just taking control of that high ground with the Ana as well, and nobody's able to de-nest them right now, and they're going to dive in and just get aggressive looking for the picks, and they find them.
Oh, just collapsing onto the defense of WGS, and a great place to also be on the high ground as it's now ring around the rosy. Now the defense are up on the high ground, dropping down. Some great anti-heals also from Dance, keeping things in shape. 1 tick, 2.5 minutes. Gen.G taking their time, but why it's so good that it took this long is that they haven't need to use any ultimates, and now they have almost everything on the board to push point B.
Yeah, this is going to be a big momentum push for them as they dive in. EMP can open things up, and while it did take them, like you said, a little bit longer to capture point A, they have all the tools at their disposal to be able to push into point B and capture it very, very quickly.
Watch out for that hack A. I think that you speak some
Stop.
very you had some serious things to say, and I think they should watch out for this hack of Glister and even the EMP, which will hack not only the front but also the back. But he's looking to scout out the supports. Not really sure if they have the, not sure if they have Transcendence or Barrier. They're gonna use it anyway, and it combines with the shot of Oberon, slams everyone to the ground. Frontline is gone from WGS, and Gen.G will start accumulating those percentage points.
Gen.G, they have to make sure that they keep everything going here, though. They have to solidify these kills. They have to stay safe, and they're doing exactly that.
And they've been chasing the kills, making sure everyone from WGS is wiped out, but they are coming back. Spear shatters nothing. Now he's dead. That's the end of the story of WGS teams so far. 5 minutes and 20 for Gen.G. And that's a pretty severe snowball that they did. You got a barrier that comes out from WGS, trying to sustain here with their emergency picks of the Mei and the Hammond, but only just taking time off the clock. They're not converting any kills.
Well, we're going to be seeing Gen.G here able to close things out, but honestly, a really solid stall from WGS Armament, stealing away a lot of time from what was a really good opportunity for Gen.G to push in, get into position, and wipe the floor on point B very quickly. But again, 458, that's a lot of time, but it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been worse, could have been better, but because Gen.G just took their sweet time at point A, they had every ultimate on the board. And that's because WGS couldn't really engage without when they lost Spear so early. But Gen.G have just been on top of the game, chasing away WGS, making sure every single person is staggered out, so they didn't have a full 6 to re-engage.
Now we'll see side swap. And we saw how effectively Gen.G was able to utilize the high ground on their attack, but it's going to be more pronounced on their defense if they're able to still have that same value. WGS Armament are going to struggle, I think, to be able to push them off of it. Or rather, if they do struggle to push them off of it, then it's going to be something that I'm not even sure if they can even capture point A if they can't knock Gen.G down. So that's going to be a point that they have to be able to address very quickly, or else they're going to lose a lot of their time, and they're going to lose a lot of opportunity to actually get something done on point A and then move to point B.
I'd love to see a Symmetra. Shooting the earth. A few more shots and it's almost dead. I was going to say something really dark like, well, we'll be dead in 30 years from global warming, but that works too. Yo.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like...
Back to the positive moments. Maybe something less grim, which is this match. Gen.G on the defense. I'm liking that they're sticking to Dance on the Ana. probably have him on the high ground. We'll take a look shortly, but WGS coming out with their normal stuff, but they are playing with the substitute.
So we'll see WGS. They're going to take that left side approach. They're going to go right to the point and see if they can force Gen.G down by just kind of baiting them to them, but, you know, taking the high ground here through the staircase. This is a good way to contest this. Now you force things to be a little bit more of a lane fight, but they actually knock Spear down.
Oh, and that's so much free damage that they're going into. The DMAG on the floor is all said and done for WGS's attack. Now, we saw one full hole today, and I don't want to see it again. Oh my goodness, Overon just dealing so much pain, the carnage for Gen.G. WGS walking back to spawn like, oh shoot, here we go again.
Oh shoot. Well, we will see Gen.G. Stop.
How many memes can I insert today? Anyway.
All right. Well, Gen.G from the high ground right now. We're gonna see them again, just trying to hold on to this as best as they can. That's gonna be the name of the game for them, and play off of Fuse to be able to displace them as they do go up. They're gonna, I think they're gonna be going for the same play, but nope, looks like they're actually gonna force the drop, bait the drop from Gen.G and get position on the point. This is a much better show from them. Now they have control. It's all about just holding out here.
Yeah, Glister also has grav advantage, and he has energy advantage. WGS would love to floor him with a shatter if Spear can get into the right position. You're kind of dangling onto the high ground, trying to see if they can bait their vision away from Spear, but he's just going to get grabbed, solo grabbed in fact, and anti-healed, and dead zo. Gen.G still holding an incredible defense, and without a Reinhardt, WGS can't really do much without him.
Oh, this is a good opportunity for them in the next fight, though, because, you know, they could drop Sven's Graviton right on top of Gen.G as they force Gen.G down, bait them into the point, and ideally, they catch them off guard with it, force Fuse's ult to come out as well, force the sound barrier, then maybe you can kind of outlast them, go beat for beat, and then swing the tides in your favor by cleaving out the sound barrier from Fuse and knowing that if Hicks can get off a little bit of damage, you'll have Transcendence to fall back on, but still something of a worry because you know the biotics are available and you know that at some point you could see Oberon just cleaving through with Nano Boost on him as well.
Oh, he will cleave the heck out of them. Nano given right away. Spear tries to shatter him down. They almost burst him down, but a life-saving barrier comes from Fuse. Gen.G are now forced to use way more than they wanted, but they get the fight win from a huge self-destruct from Uyal. Gen.G another defense, and now down to 1 minute and 10 and less. WGS getting staggered out even more as Vulture wanted a bit more of a 1v1 duel. Not respecting that one though.
And now Gen.G, we'll have to see if what they have can get the job done here. I mean, what's coming down to is maybe one last fight opportunity for WGS Armament. Gen.G have the high ground control yet again, as always, and they want to make this fight, you know, they want to stretch it out. They don't want to force the fight too early because they know if they can win one fight in about 20 seconds here, then that's it. They are able to get the full hold. They don't want to force the fight early.
Oh, self-destruct just dislodges everyone, and Glister throws out the grav. Big kill advantage for Gen.G so far, but WGS are forced to use both support ultimates, but not enough to save Flora, Vulture, or maybe more, as Spears, all kinds of displays, sleeping on the job. Gen.G are now cleaning the rest of Spears' team. Oberon giving him the business. Now last 12 seconds, and WGS invested everything.
Yeah, we're going to see Wikid and Fuse trying to come back quickly so that they can keep this fight alive for their team, but WGS Armament are still having to do just the same with pretty much their entire roster, as we're going to see a battle, a clash on the point. Gen.G trying to be able to close this one out with the full hold.
There's still a chance. WGS throwing their bodies on the point. Not any close to any ultimates, but do lose their Lucio. And now they're all types of separated, some not even close to the point, trying to get Flora back into mech. Not going to happen. Gen.G lost Wiki, but he was on the Doomfist. Kind of crazy anyway. But in overtime, this will be our second full hold possibly that we're seeing. Spear does get Oberon and Wuyal out. This is a real chance, but WGS also have to stay on the point.
Well, the grab investment and still trading back and forth. WGS Armament, I don't know if they have enough options, but they have to get the kill onto Wuyal if they want to be able to stay in this fight.
Oh, a great barrier keeps Wuyal in mech. I mean, he had self-destruct anyway, but hey, that got pretty close. And Gen.G, with that 3-0, will secure themselves in second place. So yeehaw for not going against Runaway in the first round. They'll be in the They will either last hot in the finals, trust me. But getting into the semis is still big. You don't have to, you skip the one match of the quarterfinals. But WGS not out of this yet. They still have a 4th map to go.
Well, Gen.G, that's it. I mean, 2nd place, they've claimed it. So, I mean, yeah, they definitely are in a good position for the playoffs. And they're just going to hold on to that. But it's, again, not all is done for WGS. Map differential is such a big thing here. There's still another matchup that's going to determine a lot in terms of who actually even makes it into the playoffs. I mean, even as this series concludes, you have to wait till tomorrow to even find out who I think the last 2 teams are. I don't think even we're going to have anything solidified after this is all said and done here with this last map.
No, WGS will fall to 2 and 5, but like you said, map differential, the bottom set of teams are all by 1 or 2 map wins. So WGS need this next map win on Junkertown. As now I got the map right, I will send you guys to a quick break. I'll see you guys soon. Our last map of the last week of the first day. Here we are. Gen.G are up 3-0 over WGS. We're actually going to Junkertown this time, where map differential, we said it, so important. WGS will be 2 and 5, but these wins matter so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything is on the table right now for so many different teams. I mean, we have 3 or 4 teams right now that are all in contention of being able to stay in. I think 4 of the spots are already locked in terms of map differential and score line. GC Busan Wave with their match that we just saw against Geekstar. I believe, if I'm like 99.99999% sure that they have locked themselves in with the 16 and 13 record at +3 map diff. So this is still, I mean, still a lot yet to be determined. You know, we still have this matchup here. WGS Armament with a win on this next map will put themselves at least in a solid position that if O2 Blast performs well versus MVP tomorrow, WGS might still be in this.
We still got more matches tomorrow, which also have playoff implications. O2 Blast versus MVP, and you got Element Mystic versus Runaway. The match of the season will be concluding our season of Contenders Korea. Then you got playoffs, then you got Showdown, then you got LAN playoffs. It's been an amazing season so far, and me and Heurix are really happy to kind of have our first time cast for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a really good time so far, and it doesn't end here, and that's the best. I think that's the best note, right? Is that it doesn't end here, and throughout the entire season as well, you guys have had ZP Avast, Jaws, LEGDAY as well, kind of guiding you through everything as well, and I think everybody's been blessed. That's what it really comes down to. Everybody's been blessed for sure. And even, the guys that everybody's used to seeing around, Wolf and Achilleos, they've moved on and doing big things right now in Overwatch League as well. So really excited for everything that's going on, not only just in this season, but, for everybody surrounding.
We are going to Junkertown. Yeah, speaking of Achilleos and Wolf getting promoted to Overwatch League, kind of potential. Where are these WGS members too? Are they getting promoted to OWL? I know some of them went to O2 Blast, and now that they're actually not even locked into playoffs, we'll have to make extra sure tomorrow in their match if they're making the playoffs.
Yeah, we still have question marks for Gargoyle and Karayan, and I'm definitely crying for Karayan out here, wondering
damn it.
where he is. Because I mean, really, he was such a big factor for them. I mean, between Karayan and Gargoyle, we saw so much really solid tank line play from them, and all of a sudden having to swap things up so quickly. I mean, it's gotta be a shock to WGS to try to scramble and figure all this kind of stuff out. But they've been able to do pretty well with it. Remember, this is only their third week together, taking on a team that's currently second in the region, and we're talking about Korea. I mean, this is a massive feat that they're able to at least contend with Gen.G and be able to look good at least a couple of times. We saw on Lijiang Tower how they made that very close. If they can just do that here yet again on Junkertown and maybe just get one more fight going their way, they could take a map win. They can put themselves in a position where their fate is not in their hands anymore, but at least they have a good shot in the playoffs.
Yeah, they did get full held on Kings Row and Horizon Lunar Colony, but
yeah, we're forgetting that.
I'll be forgetting those two maps. But there's a real chance here. We got Junkertown, and you're defending first. So we also have some substitutions. There's Ruff. Yes, all the subs coming in. Ruff for the other guy.
Yeah, we see Ruff come in. Yeah, Sven. And we will see Hicks as well come in. But I like this swap for creative.
Sorry.
Because I like the swap for creative, as I was saying, because they'd like to put creative in when they don't necessarily need the Ana, they don't necessarily need the Moira, but instead they have the option to go for a Hanzo that yes, Dance can play, but creative option gives the option of also a Hog if they want to pull that out. So for this map type, his swaps, his flexibility is perfect for what they would want to play here. And interestingly, this is the 5 DPS composition that we saw, I believe, for the first time last week, if I'm not mistaken, in Korea. And this is something that I talked about going into this broadcast that we could see on Junkertown, and well, here it is.
Actually, Oberon could just wall them off onto the right. They're trying to, not a cheesy defense, but they're trying to stall it out as much as they can. They got it walled off. They're trying to come out the other hole now. When Gen.G, with 5 DPS, usually you see this with a Hammond because they at least can take the attention away, but Wiki doesn't care if you pay attention to him. He'll still kill you.
Well, if you're bringing a Hammond in, it's not 5 DPS anymore. So, haha, gotcha. Gen.G taking advantage. They're just surrounding WGS, and WGS just has no idea what to do at this stage. And you can't blame them. And their position, you're talking about a team that hasn't had too much time together. So how do they adapt? There's not as much synergy there as a new roster together. So, at this point, Gen.G just trying to take advantage of that exact point as they're still playing this 5 DPS. You expect them to switch pretty quickly after they utilize their ultimates that they've built up here.
And a little hair flip Spear was just trying to avoid headshots. It's nappy nap, but I mean, Hicks takes care of that one. It's still Gen.G trying to push the cart. WGS on this high ground. It'd be important to set up Hicks up there and get some nice antis. And now that he has the nanos, it'll be important to give that to Spear.
Well, they're going to be investing that, and he's going to be diving in, but still dealing with all this pressure from all these DPS players, and they're just not able to do it.
Wiki is so happy to be out of, was it Brig jail, right? It's always the Brigs that pop off on DPS because they're so happy. There's this is my one chance to prove we can win without Brig. If I mess this up here, I'm going back to jail. Don't want to do that.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're on your best behavior when you're off the Brig, so you have the best shot of being off of, or Yeah, off the brig later on. So that's exactly what he's trying to do here. But building into the Blizzard, Oberon finally has that. Remember, this is a main tank now playing a DPS role here in this composition. And they have so many options available to swing fights in their favor. EMP, Blizzard. They even have Wikidzo as well, the barrage at the ready.
They gave him Nano to spear, but he got hit by a wall. And creative threat of Dragon Strike, that was one of those I'm swapping Dragon Strikes, and now you got a barrage from above. Again, no one is paying attention to Wikid. And you maybe should. Hicks is trying to put some shots into him as Diana, but you might need something else.
Swap time?
Don't
There
need
it is.
Because he's swapped. Back to Brig.
Well, you need consistency in this phase of the map, and you don't have those ultimates available because you just invested them to win point B, but you got the job done with that comp. You got through point B with it, which is a lot more than teams should really kind of expect. And now as they go into this last stage, they can go ahead and start building into some of their other ultimates, build up their economy on this traditional 3-3 that they've been pretty solid with throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, new swaps means no ultimate, so WGS would like to have their first stop of the day right here. They're getting close to their combo. The Grav, the self-destruct are getting pressured back already as Glister tries to build up his energy. There's a self-destruct at the back from Flora. Doesn't even catch Creatives, able to get a line of sight, and Oberon eats a pin. Or sorry, a spear that ate the pin from Oberon. And again, this is a tank that stands out so much for Gen.G.
Absolutely. He's just been so solid. I said before, too, that Oberon and Wuyao have really just done such a good job of, cleaning things up, and they are really quickly working their way into that conversation of, the best tank duos that are coming out of Korea. They're definitely working their way into that conversation.
Absolutely. Now, having to use both support ultimates, Gen.G haven't gotten a lot of meterage out of it, but WGS, at least the Transcendence to possibly engage, you might want to hold it in case things get a little bit spooky in the next coming fight, and sure it is. Shatter comes down, catches one, but Transcendence already in use from Hicks to keep everyone healed up. So Spear now under pressure after the Transcendence is done, and Gen.G just chasing away these kills.
Yeah, they're able to solidify this here, but now they still have that Graviton to rely on. WGS don't really have anything to answer with, and I don't even think they'll be able to sustain the Grav. They have to make sure that Spear can even get in there, and I don't think he can.
You just like grab everything onto that Hammond. He's gonna be your biggest problem. Now WGS just want to take time off the clock, and at this point 3 minutes and something is big. Now a Grav, no self-destruct from Flora. Not really there to make it happen. Now leaves a self-destruct, just building more time, and it is blocked from Oberon's shield. And leftover support ultimates from Gen.G makes this would be very difficult for WGS to win this, but they did take some time off the clock.
Yeah, and that could have been even longer, but Oberon making Oberon plays by throwing the Hammond off the point and making sure that they could push those last couple of meters. But 252, pretty solid, but definitely, I have to agree that they were able to get a lot more done on that third phase, slow things down a bit.
Oberon has consistently found value with the shatters. Even when you're like, okay, got mostly blocked, he got one person down. The fact that they follow up with everything Oberon does usually means a fight win for them. And that's how, even from Lijiang Tower, I said Oberon is a winning condition for the team, where Ryan shatters sometimes aren't always. But yeah, you said that one of the best main tanks in Korea. I would have to say, yeah, he's definitely up there.
Absolutely. And WGS Armament now have to answer that. And remember, map differential, as we've mentioned, is such a big deal for these teams currently sitting at 2 and 4. WGS Armament, as you can see on your screen, one of those teams. So the best bet for them is to take this map and then hope tomorrow that O2 Blast can perform well versus MVP. That's something that they'll be watching, biting their nails and on the edges of their seats to make sure that goes through. And
whoa, what?
I like that.
I've never seen that before. I am learning so much. the tracer emote, and now this purple thing, I still don't know what it is. It's
a little server box.
But why is it purple or pink?
It's all the data, obviously.
All right. Well, WGS out the doors, going with their Somber Goats, having some Ana with Hicks, able to replace that role from before, and just kidding, no Sabra. Because they see some snipers on the other side, and that's just maybe not enough attention. You need that Diva, you need the Zarya, to see you contest those snipers.
Yeah, things starting off a little rough for WGS as Gen.G takes that first pick, and they're going to continue to try to do that as much as they can with Glister and Wakid here with this composition. And as I mentioned before, creative on the hog. That's why they brought him in over Dance on this map.
Oh. Someone just got yoinked, and that's probably not a happy person. And even an anti hits Gen.G, having to take a step back. But at this point, see, these have been big. You're halting everyone up in the air. You're either hooking them, throwing out, or the snipers will deal with that. But the card is still advancing, so Gen.G have to get their foot on it.
Yeah, well, they need to make sure that they're able to stay alive, well, you know, long enough to force this fight out into the open where their snipers can actually have more value. So this is actually going to start swinging back in favor of Gen.G here.
Well, finally, Gen.G are starting to get a foot onto the payload, turning the kills in their way. But what's issue with their defense is with an Orisa D.Va comp, you have to keep resetting up your shield. And what WGS are realizing is they just have to run them over. Just keep closing that distance. And if you can at least take out the front lines, then the snipers won't bother you too much. But I mean, now the snipers are popping off, so I'll just take back everything I said.
Well, Glister hit a headshot on Lucio. I just don't think it was charged up enough. I heard the sound and my insides turned upside down as the Lucio somehow got away. But well, WGS, they're backed off for now, but we'll have to see if they can build up into their combo between Flora and Ruff. And it's just going to be a difficult thing to get through because Gen.G, they're going to be so separated. They're going to go off in different directions as much as they can to try to make sure that even
don't
if
go
the combo
there.
comes out, WGS can't really get as much value out of it.
You do not want to go in that small corridor with the Dragon Strike. At least they rethought of it, but still two instantly go down, making it a 3K! Wakid is so happy to be out of break jail. Pops off as Zafara, goes on the Hanzo, does more work. And WGS, I mean, they could easily just full hold another map against WGS.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that's going to be the case. I mean, still, those combos are coming online. The Sport ult's coming online. WGS in a better position than they've ever been to be able to turn this fight, but still the pick potential from Gen.G is something they're going to have to keep on worrying about, and they might even have to over-invest ultimates just to capture point A because of the worry that comes from having the snipers in play.
Yeah, they have such a distance to close, and they lost Ruff, who had Grav. This is a big setup they were looking for. They still invest the Nano onto their Brig, which, to be honest, I think Brig's probably not having as much value if you're not able to close the distance, the stuns you're getting, maybe to just prevent a take a breather from the Roadhog, but maybe the Brig swap is what WGS need.
Yeah, and sometimes what you'll see is the Brig actually swapping to something like a Hammond, or even in some cases you'll see Winston swaps coming into play. Well, Spear's going to take up the Winston, but instead of going for that Hammond approach, which I think was initially kind of popularized by British Hurricane like 6 months ago or something like that, maybe a little bit less than that, but still having that double dive option to get aggressive and dive into the snipers is going to be a little bit more consistent than the Brigitte option that they're going for right now.
Bit of a sneaky Dragon Strike, but WGS takes shelter, now coming around the corner with the speed boost, and you can see Spear goes right after the Widowmaker. But meanwhile, Gen.G cleaning house with a whole hog, making so much space around the payload, not as much damage mitigation. Spear, I don't even think he cleaned up the kill onto the Widowmaker. He's still back there hanging out. Now has to join the rest of the team. See if they can at least get point A, because now it's in overtime.
It just doesn't look like that's going to be the case. They're just dying left and right, and Gen.G even just staying so healthy. They're not even in a position where they have to feel even remotely scared.
I wouldn't be scared, and I mean, so is this Mercy. Mercy just doing all the work, just flying up in the air. When you got snipers like that, man, I wish they were in my games. But the 4-0 and another full hold against WGS, who we were hyping up, looked so good on Lijiang, and it felt like they just ran out of steam.
Yeah, they absolutely did. It just felt like, you know, WGS, as is sometimes the case with WGS, they really just fire off on control, and they do okay there, especially on a map like, you know, Lijiang Tower, but not able to continue that level of performance throughout the rest of the day, the rest of the match, and Gen.G showing off exactly why they deserve that bye into the semifinals, and they have solidified that for themselves now against WGS.
Unfortunately, WGS would have liked a map win to just help their map differential a little bit more, but there's still not a lot decided. We still have another day of matches, the final day, the dawn of the final day. MVP versus O2 Blast, Runaway versus Element Mystic will be coming up tomorrow, April 24th. 3 a.m. PST, 6 a.m. EST if you're on the East Coast. Wherever you are in the world, you can look up your time zone conversion. But those will be the matches to watch out for, especially Runaway versus Element Mystic to close out our season.
Yeah, and it'll be ZP and Avast, I believe, bringing you guys through that action, and a lot of action to be had between all those teams for sure. As we, think back on the day, look back at the day, and a lot of great performances, even from some of the teams that, maybe were a little bit lower on the totem pole. I think a little bit more surprising today than a lot of people probably expected.
And especially with people not expecting Element Mystic not to be in second place. It's always, Runaway Element Mystic, and now you got Gen.G crawling back in there. Well, crawling, they're clearly a dominant second place team, but we've been talking about their front line. Looks so good. They even played Glister today, which I don't think is their usual Zarya player.
Yeah. Yeah, well, typically they're going to play Stalker because they, again, really rely on the Sombra, but they're showing off that they can go back to playing Glister and they can bring Stalker out, for whatever reason. Maybe he wasn't even available today. Maybe he was sick or something like that. But either way, they bring Glister in and they look just as strong on their last 3 maps as they have all season long. And if they can, or rather, they can continue their progress of just continuing to get better every single week, because remember, they did have a rocky start. Then going into the playoffs, that should be a good look for them, especially that they have a little bit more time to prepare, right? Especially for that new patch, a lot of changes being made between now and the next time that we'll see Gen.G.
And some time to prepare as well. And even Gen.G showing their versatility with not only the Sombra Goats, but also playing more Ana with their dance. Knowing when to nano Oberon, which has been very efficient, and very different from our last series where nanos were used more defensively. Gen.G used them more offensively. And this has been huge fight wins for Gen.G, who have looked unstoppable since map 1.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, tomorrow is going to be everything. Remember, map differential is just going to play a massive factor, especially between WGS and Team MVP especially. But, this could very well be a difference maker as well. If MVP does well tomorrow and O2 Blast fall, well, WGS not getting a map win today, that could spell defeat for them and just sending them into 7th place. So something to keep in mind as you guys prepare your minds with all the math that has to be done tomorrow as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the casters will update you guys with the standings of